Good morning, guys. Welcome to the Thungal online classes. In the last class, we were discussing about the various concepts such as heat capacity, molar heat capacity, specific heat capacity, and the relationship between the Cp and Cv, etc. Okay, in this class, we'll discuss about the thermochemistry. Okay, basically the thermochemistry is deals with the energy changes associated with the chemical reactions. Okay, it tells us what amount of energy changes are involved in the chemical process. Okay, thermochemistry is actually an application of first law of thermodynamics. Okay, now let us see some important aspects of the thermochemistry. Okay, standard conditions. First of all, let us understand what is meant by standard conditions. Standard conditions in thermochemistry. Standard conditions in thermochemistry means, okay, these are the standard, certain conditions are considered as a standard to measure the internal energy change, enthalpy change of a chemical reaction. Okay, those conditions, okay, where this calculations of internal energy as well as enthalpy of the reactions are carried out is called as standard conditions. Okay, standard temperature. First thing is that standard temperature. Standard temperature means 25 degrees Celsius or 298 Kelvin. What is this? The temperature of 25 degrees Celsius or 298 Kelvin is basically considered as standard temperature. And standard pressure. Let us see what is meant by standard pressure. 180 or 760 mm of Hg pressure is considered standard pressure. And standard physical state. Standard physical state. Physical state. Okay. Let us see what is meant by standard physical state. The physical state of a substance. The physical state. The physical state of a substance. Under standard conditions, under standard temperature and pressure is considered as standard physical state. Standard physical state. Let us try to understand what is meant by this. Suppose what is meant by standard temperature and pressure. Temperature should be 25 degrees Celsius, okay, or 298 Kelvin, and pressure should be 180. The physical state of any given substance at these conditions is considered as standard physical state. For example, if you are talking about the water, okay, at 25 degrees Celsius and 1 atm pressure, water will be liquid state. Okay, for H2O, okay, liquid state is considered as standard state. For example, if you are talking about hydrogen, for hydrogen what will be the standard physical state? Gaseous state. For oxygen, if you are talking at 25 degrees Celsius and 1 atm pressure, oxygen will be in gaseous state, right? If you are talking about the bromine, what will be the standard physical state of bromine? At the standard temperature and standard pressure, bromine will be liquid. Suppose we are talking about iodine at standard conditions will be solid, like this. Okay, suppose we are talking about the carbon exists in various allotropic forms. For this carbon, okay, the standard physical state is considered as carbon exists in diamond form, carbon exists in graphite form, carbon exists in various charcoal form. Okay, but this graphite is taken as standard state. These are called allotropic forms. All these forms are called, when a particular substance exists in more than one allotropic form, one of the particular allotropic form is taken as standard form. Okay, allotropic form of the carbon, okay, in graphite state is taken as standard form. If you are talking about sulfur exists in various forms: monoclinic, sulfur monoclinic, okay, rhombic. Okay, this rhombic is taken as a standard form for the sulfur. Okay, suppose if you are talking about phosphorus, okay, white phosphorus, and it exists in yellow phosphorus. This white phosphorus is taken as standard state. Okay, this is the meaning of standard physical state. Okay, these conditions are considered as standard conditions. Okay, whenever you are making a change, suppose if you are measuring enthalpy change of a reaction under this condition, that will be called as standard enthalpy change. Basically, enthalpy change is denoted delta H. Okay, this delta H indicates the enthalpy change. Enthalpy change under normal conditions, under any conditions, under any condition. Suppose if I write it as a delta H naught, this H naught indicates enthalpy change. What is this? Enthalpy change. Enthalpy change under standard conditions. Standard conditions. This is the meaning of it. Suppose if I write it as delta mu, this is the internal energy change under normal conditions or ordinary conditions. Delta U naught will be what? Internal energy change at standard condition. This is the meaning of standard. Standard means the temperature has to be 25 degrees Celsius and the pressure has to be 1 atm, and the substances, all the substances involved in the reaction has to be in their standard form. Okay, what is mean by standard form? Okay, the physical state of a substance, okay, under standard conditions is considered as standard physical state. Okay, hope it is clear so far. Now we'll discuss another important concept, measurement of delta H and delta U of chemical reaction, Okay, since the last 2-3 classes we are continuously discussing about the delta H and delta U. Okay, what is mean by delta H? Delta H means internal energy change or heat capacity. Internal energy change or heat capacity of system at constant pressure. Okay, and delta U will be what? Internal energy change or heat capacity of system at constant value. Okay, for a given reaction, how can we actually measure the delta H and delta U? Why we are taking delta H and delta U? Why we are not taking H and U? Because it's not possible to calculate the absolute value of H and U. Because of that only we are calculating the change in the enthalpy as well as change in the internal energy. Okay, now basically for a given chemical reaction, the technique used for the measurement of delta H and delta U is called as calorimetry. What is called? Calorimetry it is called as. This is one of the scientific method, okay, by which we can measure, scientific technique by which we can measure the change in the enthalpy as well as change in the internal energy at a constant value. The apparatus used for the calculation of, okay, for the apparatus used this purpose is called as calorimeter. What it is called? Calorimeter it is called. The technique is called calorimetry and the apparatus used is called as calorimeter. Okay, based on the nature of chemical reaction, based on the nature of chemical change, okay, there are two types of methods of calorimetry. Okay, what is called first method, which is called bomb calorimeter. What it is called? And the second one is called as second method, which is called, okay, water calorimeter. What it is called? Water calorimeter. Right? Now let us see one by one what is mean by bomb calorimeter and what is mean by water calorimeter. Okay, this is a technique to measure the delta H and delta U of a system. Let us see the first method. What is the first method? It is also called bomb calorimeter. Okay, it is basically used. It is used for the calculation of or for the measurement of delta H and delta U of combustion reaction. Which type of reaction is combustion reaction? It is only used for the measurement of enthalpy change or energy change of combustion reactions. Right? Now, if you see the construction of this particular right, it is called steel bomb. This is insulated container. This is we call steel bomb. Okay, and this is take what we take. It will be taken with water. Okay. This will be water. Here we take water here. Okay, this is stirrer with what we call as. This will be called as stirrer, and this is thermometer. Thermometer. This is actually called Beckman thermometer. What it is called? Beckman thermometer. And this is the substance undergoing combustion. Okay, this is platinum wire. This is the experimental setup for the measurement of okay, in this experiment what is constant? The value is constant. We are measuring the internal change at constant value. So what actually we are measuring here? We are actually measuring delta U we are measuring. Okay, if you see this experiment, in this experiment what we are using a steel bomb lined with, okay, this steel bomb is actually lined with either gold or platinum or non-oxidizable substance. Basically this bomb calorimeter is used for the combustion reaction. What is mean by combustion reaction? When you are burning a substance in excess of oxygen, that particular reaction is called as combustion reaction. The basic principle involved in it is that by using, this is a platinum wire, okay, this is a substance, okay, whose enthalpy has to be measured. Okay, this substance is ignited by using a platinum wire, by using electric current. Okay, when you burn this substance, it undergoes instantaneous explosion. Okay, because of that explosion, what happens? Okay, this water taken in the container gets heated. Okay, if the water gets heated, what happens? The temperature rises. Okay, basically what we are taking, we are using a bulk container which is having insulated walls because it won't allow to heat. Okay, under that water what we are placing the steel bomb, within the steel bomb we are placing the substance whose internal energy has to be calculated. Okay, internal energy change at constant value which is called as delta U. Okay, and this tank is fitted with a stirrer as well as a very sensitive thermometer which is called as Beckman thermometer. When this substance in steel bomb is ignited, what happens? It undergo combustion. As a result of combustion, it will be liberated. As we know, all the combustion reactions are exothermic reaction. So this heat will be absorbed by water. Okay, and we will measure the rise in the temperature. Okay, before the experiment, what we do? We will measure the water heat capacity of the water. Okay, by using benzoic acid. Okay, by using this rise in temperature and heat capacity value of the water, okay, we can find out the internal energy change of this particular combustion reaction, which is also known as delta U, as it is as this measurement is taken at the constant value. Okay, what is the procedure here? What we are doing here, a substance is, this is the oral process. Okay, this is the oral process that is involving in this method. Actually what we measure here is that the internal energy change delta U is given by, okay, suppose if you are taking, let rise in temperature after the combustion is theta, okay, of a substance of a substance of m grams mass and m grams per molar mass, okay, and Z heat capacity of water plus, okay, water plus steel bomb is equal to Z. Then the delta U will be equal to Z into theta into upon capital M upon small m kelvins. This is the expression for the calculation of delta U, where Z is what? Z is the heat capacity of, what is this, water plus steel bomb, okay. Theta is what it is, rise in temperature. How we know the temperature is rise? The rise in temperature is measured by sensitive thermometer. And what is in molar mass of the substance? Molar mass of the substance. And what is capital? Mass of the substance. Here we use a known mass of the substance. And if you calculate the delta U, if you want to calculate the delta H of the same reaction, what will be the reaction? We know that delta H will be equal to delta U plus delta NGRT, or otherwise can also be given as, okay, Cp is equal to what? Cv plus, what is this? Okay, it can also be given in this form, Qp equal to Qc plus delta NGRT, where delta NGRT is what? Delta Ng will be equal to what? Number of gaseous products minus number of gaseous reactant. Hope this method is clear. It's a simple method. What we do here, a known mass of substance is ignited by using an electric current through the platinum voids. Okay, when you ignite this substance, it undergoes combustion. Because of the combustion, heat will be liberated. That heat will be absorbed by water. This rise, as the water absorbs the heat, the temperature of the water rises, which will be detected by the thermometer. Okay, a known mass m and the molar mass of this substance is capital M. Okay, water heat capacity of water plus steel bomb will be considered as Z, and the rising temperature is taken as theta, and molar mass of the substance taken is capital M, and mass of the substance used will be small. Then the change in internal energy at constant value will be equal to Z into theta into upon m Coleridge. If you know the delta U for the same reaction, you can calculate the delta H by using the relation of delta H is equal to delta U plus delta Ng RT. Okay, this is the first method. There is another method to calculate. What is the second method? The second method is called as second method of measurement of delta H and delta U. This is called water calorimeter. What is this called? Water calorimeter it is called. Okay, in this method what we do, two beakers are being taken. The two beakers are being taken and they are placed one in another. Okay, two beakers are being taken and they are placed in one another. Right? Now, this will be the experimental step. So this is boiling tube. This is thermometer. Okay, this is water. Water is called as calorimetric liquid. What is water called? Water is known as calorimetric liquid, since we are making the measurements by using water. Okay, basically this method is used. It is used for non-combustion reaction. What is meant by non-combustion reaction? The main difference between these two methods is that the bomb calorimeter is used for the combustion reaction and the water calorimeter is used for the non-combustion reaction. Such as, what are non-combustion reactions? Such as acid-base reactions, dilution or making of solutions of solids in water or other liquids. For this type of reactions, dissolution of substances, for this type of reactions, the change in the internal energy at constant volume as well as change in the internal energy at constant pressure will be measured by using, we take two beakers, one will be placed in another. Okay, in between these two we will use non-conducting material. Between these two we use non-conducting material. Okay, so what we do, we will conduct the reaction. This is stirrer in a boiling tube. Whatever the chemical reaction you are carrying, that chemical reaction is conducted in a boiling tube which is placed in the water. Okay, as a result of this reaction, temperature, heat may be released or heat may be absorbed. If heat is absorbed, the temperature of the water falls. If heat is released, the temperature of the water increases. We will measure this rise in temperature as well as fall in temperature. Okay, from that we will calculate the internal energy changes as well as enthalpy change. Okay, basically what we do, okay, at high temperature, okay, we will measure the temperature of water. Temperature of water at heat capacity of water at high temperature T2 and mass M2, as well as heat capacity of water at low temperature T1 and mass M1 is measured, and by mixing these two you will get the temperature T3. Okay, from this what we calculate is that we will calculate your heat liberated. What we calculate here? Heat liberated will be equal to, that is denoted with, okay, so we will calculate heat capacity of water, W, which is equal to M2 into T2 minus T3 upon T3 minus T1 minus M1. Okay, from this we will calculate heat liberated. Heat liberated will be equal to W plus volume of reaction. Here also we are doing the at constant value into rise in temperature of water. This gives us the energy changes associated with the non-combustion reactions. Okay, these are the two methods by using which we will calculate the heat capacity of a chemical reaction. Hope it is clear. So and we will discuss another important term such as thermochemical equation. Let us see what is meant by thermochemical equation. Basically, chemical equation means, okay, a chemical equation represents it represents a chemical change. Okay, what substances are undergoing chemical change, as a result of the chemical change what new substances has been produced. It will be represented in the form of molecular formulas of reactant as well as products. When it comes to a thermal equation, let us see what is meant by thermal equation. A chemical equation which involves the enthalpy changes, enthalpy or energy changes, the chemical equation which represents, it is written in the proper way, the chemical equation which represents the enthalpy or energy changes with proper sign and value is known as chemical thermochemical equation. What is called thermochemical equation, we call it as, right? Now let us take an example. Suppose if you are writing a reaction carbon and reaction with oxygen gives rise to CO2. If you write an ordinary equation like this, what do you understand from this? Okay, you have not specified anything. It is a general ordinary reaction. Carbon is reacting with oxygen and to produce carbon dioxide. Does it give any information regarding the energy changes associated with the equation, whether it is going to absorb the heat or whether it is going to liberate the heat? It does not tell anything about the heat changes associated with the reaction. If you represent an equation with the energy changes with the proper sign, that type of reaction is called as thermochemical equation. Okay, suppose this thermochemical equation also includes the physical state of reactant as well as products. Their allotropic forms are also represented in the reactants and products. Okay, carbon exists in various allotropic form. You have to mention the carbon in which state it is undergoing chemical reaction, whether in gaseous state or solid state or liquid state. If you are taking solid state, there are several allotropic forms of carbon, whether it is undergoing reaction in the diamond form or graphite form or charcoal form. Okay, this is we call allotropic form. We have to represent the physical states of the all the reactants and products, as well as we have to represent the allotropic forms of the reactant and products form. Okay, here if I write it is carbon solid, in particularly what form it is? Graphite form. What is this? Graphite form. Reacting with oxygen to form gaseous carbon dioxide. Basically what type of reaction it is? It is exothermic reaction. How we know that it is an exothermic reaction? Because it is a combustion reaction. What is meant by combustion? When you are heating any substance or when you are burning any substance in excess of oxygen, that type of reactions are called as combustion reactions. And combustion reactions are always exothermic. Now this we call as exothermic reaction. It liberates 393.5 kilocalories per mole amount of energy. Okay, or otherwise you can also represent the same reaction in this way. Okay, here what is along with the formation of carbon dioxide, this reaction gives 393.5 kilocalories of amount of heat energy. So this can also be represented, delta H of this reaction will be minus 393.5 kilocalories. It can also be represented in this manner. The representation we will discuss later. This is the meaning of it. A chemical reaction which represents the energy changes or heat changes associated with a chemical reaction with a proper sign and orientation is called as thermochemical reaction. What are the important things to be noted down? In thermochemical equation, the thermochemical equation also includes physical state of reactants and products. What it includes? Reactants and products, right? And contrary to the ordinary equation, in thermochemical equation, fractional coefficients can be used. Right? Suppose if I write like H2 2H2 reacts with O2 gives rise to 2H2 liquid gas. I may also write this reaction as H2 reacts with half O2 gas to form 1 mole of H2 liquid. Here we have used 2, here we have used fractional coefficient. In contrast to the ordinary chemical equations, in thermochemical equations we can use fractional coefficients. Okay, and it also represents the allotropic forms. What is meant by allotropic form? I may take carbon in the form of diamond on reaction with oxygen gas, it forms CO2. The heat changes associated in this form will be different when you are talking about the heat change associated when you are taking carbon in the graphite form, right? Here the amount of heat liberated will be different from the amount of heat liberated when you are using graphite. This is called thermochemical equation, right? Suppose as a result of a thermochemical equation, you have understand one thing, okay? As a result of the chemical equation, energy may be liberated or energy may be absorbed. If energy is liberated during the chemical reaction, what we call it as? It will be called as exothermic reaction, and energy is being absorbed as a result of the reaction. What happens? It will be called endothermic reactions. Okay. The enthalpy changes of a chemical reaction are basically given. Delta RH of a reaction is basically given. What is this? Sum of the enthalpies of product minus sum of the enthalpies of reactants. Okay, and basically a reaction can be exothermic reaction, or it can be an endothermic reaction. What is meant by exothermic reaction? Reactions that gives or liberates, reaction that liberates heat energy as a result of reaction are known as exothermic. I just now said that carbon in graphite form reacts with this is carbon graphite oxygen in gaseous state to give CO2 gas. It can be represented plus 393 5 kilocalories, okay, or it may be also represented delta H minus. What is this? Delta H minus, okay, will be equal to 393.5. Why we are using this negative symbol? Liberation is always given with a negative symbol, because basically what is the delta H? Delta H will be equal to HP minus HR. Enthalpy of the reactant minus enthalpy of the product minus enthalpy of the reactant. When a reaction will become exothermic, if the enthalpy of the product is less than enthalpy of the reactant, then what happens? Then delta H will be less than 0, but it is negative. Okay. When enthalpy of the reactant is greater than enthalpy of the product, then such a chemical reaction is called as exothermic reaction. What is the opposite of it? Opposite of it is called endothermic reactions. What is this? Endothermic reaction. What is meant by endothermic reaction? Reactions that absorbs okay, heat energy are called as endothermic reactions. Endothermic reactions, right? Basically, delta H of these reactions will also be given HP minus HR when a reaction will become endothermic. If enthalpy of the products is greater than enthalpy of the reactant, then what happens? Delta H will be what? Greater than 0, then it is positive. Then we say the reaction is endothermic. I will give an example. N2 will react with O2. Both are gaseous. Okay. It gives 2 moles of NO gas. Here delta H will be written as minus n. So assume it as gives, I don't remember exact value of how much heat is generated, x kilojoules to this test. It can be represented on product size as minus, or it can be represented on the reactant side as N2 gas plus O2 gas plus x kilojoules of amount to NO gas, or otherwise it may also be represented as delta H, okay, x kilojoules per mole it is. This is the way of representation of exothermic and endothermic reactions.